world. You are now rocking with the smooth sounds of Black Diamond, baby. I am JM, Empire Media. Ha! Loudmouth, VeroG. Let's do it. They said I couldn't make it. They said I couldn't do it yet. Well, this goes out to all of them. Get your own life. Just when I thought I'd never see another day, my Lord Savior came to me. He said we'll find a way.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl VeroG. Right now you're watching the VeroG Spotlight TV show. Yes, and today we got a great show. We have a special for you guys, a Father's Day special show. And here on my other side of the table, we got my special co-host for today, Sergeant Gonzalo Duran. How are you?
Hey everybody, how you guys doing?
They good, they good.
I'm good.
And we got, of course, you know we got. I want to say Gonzalo.
Gemini STAX.
Gemini STAX. I keep all names. How you doing?
I'm good.
All right, that's short to the point, I like that. And we got an amazing guest for today. He is an amazing father, and we're gonna talk more about what he's done in the community and everything else. Let's get it for TYREEK Goodman. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah, baby. So you already know. Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm very excited. This is one of my first things. First time being on something like this. This is dope.
That's good.
Yeah, and breaking new grounds right there.
Right.
Yeah.
We're honored. So we're gonna talk a lot about father stuff and more things. So I can't wait for all our input on this. I'm excited.
Let's get it.
You already know. So before we start, guys, quickly, you guys can follow my Instagram at @officialVeroG. Where could they find you guys? I started with Gemini.
Gemini STAX Multimedia. That's on Instagram and Facebook.
Where could they find you, Gonzalo?
You can reach me at Gonzalo Duran NYC or DevilDogUSAInc.org.
Okay, where could they find you at, Tori?
Follow my Instagram, EPICREV TV. That's it.
I like this. Short and sweet people, I like this.
Yeah.
All right, so quickly, the VeroG Spotlight magazine is out now, the June issue. A cover of it, of course, is Gemini STAX here on this end.
Of course. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. And stay tuned for the next issue, July issue. It will be coming out next month in July, so stay tuned. And you can get all the issues available at www.macleod.com. All right, guys, are you excited?
Yes.
I am.
All right.
I am.
Let's get it. So,
Yeah.
as you know, Father's Day is coming up, right?
Yeah.
And we want to, give you tribute to the fathers out there doing everything. Big shout out to you guys. Being for single fathers or fathers out there just contributing to society and that sort. So I'm going to give my co-host the lead, and I would like to have him be a part of it.
Well, Veronica, thank you so much for allowing me to co-host with you. We had this idea a couple months ago. What are we doing for the fathers?
Yes.
And being a Father of the Year recipient for New York City in 2016, I always try to do a little work at towards the year on what we're gonna do for Father's Day. Yeah, what we're gonna do this year. I was like, and then you gave us the idea of coming over here and hosting. For me, I've always had a positive view of Father's Day, but when we look at the promotional mainstream, there isn't enough as there is for Mother's Day. Yeah. And then what platforms are we doing to make sure that those issues are being hit? So I've always tried to do something where we not only do it for Mother's Day, but Father's Day, and they're all inclusive all around throughout the year. So I was like, well, who can we have? TYREEK was one of them, having a perspective, another single father. Gemini being just a single with no kids, but he has a perspective of, the outside view, the third-party view of that. And then you as a mother coming in here and showing, hey, you've held the ground for mother, father on that side. So why not have a sit down and say, look, can we get all perspective all in one shot?
I love that. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
Yeah, that's dope. All right, I like that. So you want to start out with that part?
Well, one of the topics, and I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but,
no, it's okay.
Right now I think Father's Day is the 18th.
Yes.
I haven't seen any promotions from that many companies out there. When Mother's Day was around, there was a ton.
Yeah.
Treat your mother, do this for your mother, half off on Mother, free Mother's Day, this and that and that. when it came to Father's Day, I'm like, well, where is it? This is right here was the platform to get as much attention that we could reach out. There's some events that we're holding down, myself for the District 79 and then the 78. One of my colleagues, Dion Powell, is doing his own event that we're working with him on that. You know, that being said, I mean, what have you guys seen out there? What?
Nothing really for Father's Day. There's always something for Mother's Day, you know. So, you know, I lost my father a long time ago. So, you know, after that, I don't really celebrate it. So,
My condolences.
but you know, I still see people out there with their kids out there, and I feel great for them. So,
And TYREEK, what have you seen being promoted out there for
Nothing.
Father's Day?
Nothing. Well, let's be real clear, right? Mother's Day, you have big promotions over Mother's Day because you got a lot of people that's buying things, gifts. The man got to buy something for the mother. The son, the daughter got to buy something for the mother. Everybody got to get something for the mother, the grandmother, the grandfather, and celebrate it.
yeah.
But, of course, when the Father Days come around, there's no market on that
Very true.
for giving a man a gift.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? We already live in a world where people really doubt that we go through feelings or we have feelings or we go through our emotional things. You get what I'm saying? So there's no market on Father's Day.
Very true. I'm going to add to that what you guys all say. I 110% agree to what you guys are saying. Why? Because it's true. They always favor more than mothers. You know, it's just because the mothers do. I feel like it should be more equal. You know, how the child came into this world, not only her, the father had to contribute, right? So I think in a sense, you know, as being a mother and both ends because being a single mom and kind of seeing, in my perspective, being like the father and the mother, I had to do both roles, which was harder for me because it was like balancing out scheduling and taking care of my kid and how I get babysitting and all that sorts. But I commend you guys that the fathers that do step up and do come in and do what you have to do. And we need more respect to you guys out there that really put the work in.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, with that being said, you know, obviously the regular big stuff are always going to be the hardware stores and stuff that are going to do promotion for Father's Day. But, you know, I like to walk down, you know, Manhattan and get like a gift bag for just being a dad on Father's Day. You know, I know that may sound a little corny, but, you know, we need
No, that's
to,
good.
you know?
They do it for mothers. They do it for mothers. They should do it for fathers too.
Sure, why not?
I mean, but
yeah.
also I don't want to take away the job from the mothers. You know, they also push out the baby. They hold the baby for 9 months. To give birth, some women don't even make it out of that process. You know, some women got to get cut open. So I understand that aspect of it and why it's so important. But at the same sense, what it creates is an unequal balance between the mother and the father. And
So they should just share it then. Share it.
Yeah.
Share Mother's Day and share Father's Day.
Well, that's not how it is now, unfortunately.
I know,
It's
but
like asking somebody to share their birthday.
Yeah.
well,
That's impossible.
well, you just got hopefully most people, hopefully.
Interesting.
Well, I know one thing that I like to do, maybe mid next week, maybe try to have a Father's Day cigar night.
That'd be
Now,
nice.
is that like the best thing or the most elaborate thing? No, but I think it's something to show the community that we're trying to do that. So I think I'm going to start putting in the plans for that later today and see if I can get that in next week. And you guys are more than welcome to be invited.
Okay.
It take two for me. Hey, I'll
Okay.
take it. I'll take it. I actually have some other cigars too. Yeah. No, that's great. I want to just add some to this topic as well, like different things going on. I do want to add for you guys, being a father in the society for all you, and not, including you, even though you raised children, your
Yes.
life too as well. I want to add to this. How do you guys feel about society now, where unfortunately a lot of times the fathers, there is a lot of deadbeat fathers. Let's just keep it what it is. How do you guys feel about that?
Now let me ask you a question: is that a fact?
Oh, we got to go real debate on this now.
Because listen,
Woo,
I'm gonna
okay.
tell you right now,
Yeah.
the stigma of this, and that's the thing too. A lot of women growing up, not to say it like this, but around where I'm around, was taught that men wasn't gonna be around. They expected us not to be around. They expected us the moment that we have an issue with them that we was gonna flee or we was gonna run, or even if we wasn't gonna be with them that we wasn't gonna be there for our kids.
Right.
That's no longer the case. When I'm in the projects, because I live in the P's, you know what I mean?
Ain't nothing
And
wrong
I've
with
been
that.
to places, so-
Ain't nothing wrong with
but
that. Ain't nothing wrong with
I
that.
want to shed light on that because
Yeah.
that's where the stigma comes from. There's no fathers.
Yeah.
Where now, if you look in the community, you see a lot of fathers. You get
Yeah,
what I'm
you do.
saying? Now, are they with the mother? No. Are they together? So now we can't, the dynamics of saying deadbeat fathers, because now you got fathers holding their mans up accountable. Like,
Yeah.
all my mans, we all got kids now, except for one.
good. Yeah.
So if I'm being a deadbeat father while he's busting his ass, excuse my language.
No, listen, go ahead.
Oh, that's even better.
Go ahead.
He's busting his ass doing what he has to do, you think he's going to sit there and tolerate me? We both working men.
No,
So
I
you
don't
got
think so.
men, right.
He's
you got,
not going to.
Exactly. Because now he's doing what he got to do, so he don't got time to be around that.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of men now, you know, that are together, that are fathers, you know. So when you say that, I look at that and I say, well, okay, what perspective? Because
Yeah,
what I'm
it's a
seeing is
big
a
broad view,
totally
yeah.
different, and when I'm around, it's totally different.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And I don't see the ones who's deadbeats and the ones who's not around. They even, for me, is drug problems, or not to say it like that. What happens when the woman pushes the father away?
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's a different
Yeah.
perspective. You see that, you know, the way you're saying that in that sense. Now, I want to go from my personal experience. I'm not gonna get into it, much of it personally. Wink, wink. Just have to throw it in there. I experienced something of a situation like that, and unfortunately, there are not. All men are not bad. I'm not pointing nobody out, but
Thank
I'm just
you.
saying you're welcome. But you too, yeah. Just give me that love.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
getting
you.
recognition.
That felt
recognition.
good.
Thank you.
You're
That felt
welcome, you're
great.
welcome
That
now,
felt
okay?
good.
Right.
But I'm
You
just
know?
saying personally, from my own personal experience in the past, unfortunately, there are some few rotten bad apples out there that don't really take the obligation and do their part as a father. And that's, I'm just naming out those that really, they just,
And you know what? Those are the people who miss out. Because when he
Yes.
turns 18 or 15 or 16, he's going to remember it. And when he
That is
remembers it,
true.
it's over.
But my question to you now, and I want your opinion as well, and Gonzalo as well, and you too as well. And I'm gonna go around the room, but I want your question is the fact of, how do you think how the child feels when the father is not in the picture? You first. I want to
me,
go around. Yes.
I'm a person that didn't have a father because I lost him years ago.
Sorry.
So I was raised by my mother. But, I mean, my mother raised me well, and I turned out well. So, and I had people around that cared for me. So that's it. You know, don't think that the child don't listen or can't see, because when he gets older, you're gonna know.
Mike, I mean, crazy. I know you guys. Greg,
So how do we
Gonzalo.
feel when?
When the like for the child, their impact on having not a father in the picture? Yeah.
So my mother raised me, and I didn't know my father too well. Although I knew where he lived and I knew his area, his working expertise. Because I knew of him, I always tried to say, well, what would my father would want while I was growing up? And the real connection that I made with him was, let's say, 13 to 15, when I was trying to rebel against my mother.
Wow.
And I went into that direction. And it didn't work out well. I'm like, well, now I can see why you weren't in my life, or why my mother didn't want you in my life. So in my perspective, I would say it was always trying to see what he would want from me, you know, and see what he would want me to be like. And then when I actually did it, he wasn't there to see it because he had passed away. So when I joined the Marines, I went to go see him. He was really proud of that. And then by the time I was in Iraq and came back from Iraq, a couple years later, he had passed away. So I think all the things that he had planned was for me when I got back home, but we never got to see that, unfortunately. So for me, what I think is, not only for me, what other people would want to see is, what would their father want them to be like? Because that's what I look at for my children. Like, my perspective is always, I'm trying to give my kids the best view of what a father or a man supposing should look like. So I remember one of the things that my daughters always said when she was growing up, when people asked her, what does your dad do? And she would always respond with, he helps people. So my point of view is always help people, and that's it.
Yeah, that's amazing. This is a good clap right there now.
That sounds good.
So you took a negative to a better light to positivity
Yeah.
in your own life and having your own kids and showing them, like, you know, that you have to be always impact and role into your child's life, no matter what. That's beautiful. And what about you, sir?
So I was lucky. Well, Not really, but in a sense, yes.
Okay.
I had my father in my life. I had my mother in my life. Was they together? No. So I had to deal with them being separate. So at times, even if my father was around, I still felt sometimes abandoned. I still felt sometimes alone because there's certain times where he couldn't be there. But then also, it's the same vice versa with mommy when they're working. So it's always the dynamic of that too. The crazy thing is, and it's funny what you were saying about your dynamic with your father, and then you not having yours. Can I ask a question?
No, please, yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Open discussion. Yeah.
What would it have been better, having somebody around and then they're not able to do what they got to do for you, or not? Like,
I don't know. I was raised by my mother, so it's
But what is the possibility if they say it would have changed?
because sometimes some people like got to deal with mental issues and things like that. So it's like one of my friends, his parent, is a drug addict. So he has to deal with that in his face every day. That's his reality.
I knew that I had
Oh wow. That's tough.
when I and I don't want to really say this because she doesn't know this, but I have anger issues too. So people don't realize that because I don't lash out, but trust me, I do, and I knew that as a kid anyway. But nobody knows that. Nobody knows that because I'm even killed with it. But trust me, there's a lot of times I just be like, I wish I was. I'm glad I had my mother, but trust me, I wish I didn't have her either. But thank God. You know what? She's gone and they gone, and I think about the shit that I went through, and I don't I don't wish that on my worst enemy.
Gotcha. That's powerful right there.
Yeah. Oof. Wow. Deep stuff.
Well, I mean, for me, so
Yeah.
I think a family, two people bring a child into the world, and that child has the right to have both parents bring them up, whether the other person is negative or positive. It should be a family dynamic,
Right.
and that's the best scenario that we would want. It's almost never that case, but there shouldn't be a separation just because. There should be a reason. Now, mental health problems or criminal issues or anything like that, that's a separate thing to say in the family dynamics because you can be an alcoholic but still be a good father, and mental health, in that perspective, we assume that the creation of that child was for a reason. Two people were in love or whatever, made a child to build a future or a family. So removing something has always been negative towards me. I've always seen that as a negative. For me specifically, my mother raised me. My father wasn't the best person, but he was a hard worker. And in that part, I always looked up to him because he gave me that mentality of work hard. Like, I think I think he passed away when I was 24, 25 or something like that. I only met him 20 times or so.
Do you wish that he was in your life more?
Not after knowing what type of person he was. Remember, I went to go be with him in my 13 to 15 in the summer, and I was like, I can understand why my mom didn't want you or why you wouldn't be the best person. But he taught me two things. One, working hard, you can get pretty much whatever you want. So there's a guy who came to this country, no education, no formal education, became a barber, taught many barbers across the city on how to be barbers.
Yeah.
Started his own business. At one point he had his home block of businesses, and then while he got older, it dwindled down because he just wasn't that equipped for business savviness. But he can get it done.
Yeah.
And then he taught me how to tie a tie. So those are two things that have been reflected on me. So for me, raising my kids, once again, I didn't have a father raising me, but I'm like, this is maybe what I would want. And I take my kids to the museum, skating, movies, try to do cultural stuff, things that I wish would have happened to me for them. So in that aspect, I hope and I would think that most people would want a reflection of the individuals that are coming because we all bring something good and positive. But what that is, it just may affect people differently.
It's so true, so true. Now I do want to get a little bit insight on you before we continue on the topics. Just want to add it to him. So, those who don't know who you are, tell the viewers at home who is TYREEK Goodman.
So TYREEK Goodman is the co-founder of EPICREV Vision. It's a youth and community enlightenment program. We pretty much, what I do is I get the youth around, we shoot videos for them, teach them how to use certain equipment and things like that. We also help with nonprofit work within the community. Outside of that, I have EPICREV TV. That's pretty much like a new underground site that we're doing for underground talents and stuff like that, and shine a light on the working class businessman. And I'm also a father. I just had my child last year.
Congratulations.
She's gonna be, she's 11 months. She's gonna be 1 July 22nd.
Okay.
Like, her name is Lael Essence Goodman. You know, that's my baby right there. She's beautiful.
Oh
It's sweet.
man, enjoy every moment. That's all I gotta
Enjoy
say.
it.
Yes, definitely.
Shout out to Lael. This is dedicated to you.
Oh, yes, sir, baby.
I had the pleasure of meeting her recently, so
Okay.
So you're right, yeah, you're right.
Oh, that's good then.
Definitely. So, and besides you doing a lot, that's amazing. Let's give applause for him. Commend what you're doing for the community and for the youth, which is very important, especially where we're going through seeing a lot of things happening. So, what is your outtake? What's happening with the gun violence, which is this month actually? Actually, it's coming in July. July. How do you impact on that with the youth and your programs? How do you kind of influence for that with the youth?
In order to make change and understand it, for me, I feel like being once a part of that environment or around that, you know, I understand that, and it's sensitive. You get what I'm saying, for me too, because at 16, I was a victim. I got shot in my shoulder.
Oh my God.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, wow.
So it's like, yeah. So the gun violence, like, when you talk about gun violence in the Bronx, I gotta ask you, like, what age, what era? You get what I'm saying? 'Cause
Like,
it's
it
like,
depends.
yeah, because it's like I'm 31 right now. So if you think about it, the other kids that's coming up, they in their 20s, they going through it. Then you got the younger ones going through it, and then now it's getting younger and younger.
Worse. It's bad out there. Yeah.
Growing up in my
Yeah.
day, like it was. I'm saying my day. I'm getting old.
Back in,
That's
in
okay.
the time,
That's
our
okay.
our
It's
generation.
okay.
I was 31.
That's
crazy.
okay.
We're all young here. We're all young here.
No, so it's crazy because like before it was like 6 to us. For every 6 of us, there was one person I was probably holding. Now to these young kids, to every 6 of them, to 10 of them, there's about 4 or 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But let me tell you what's the problem with this. The problem is the lack of fathers. And not the lack of fathers that's being deadbeat, it's the lack of fathers that's being pushed away. The system is not geared for women to be with their man and get the help that they need.
Right.
So that means if you're poor, I'm poor, we both have a kid, you get more resources not being with me. You're told to be more independent and forcefully not, and now that's all cool, as a woman should be. But now what happens is when that kid grows up,
They're gonna be.
they already know how to work you, they already had time to play with you and everything else like that. Now the father comes in hand, or if you don't have that disciplinary in hand of somebody that they're not going to play or chastise or, you know,
manipulate.
Just, because sometimes it takes 2.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure my daughter's going to be able to rap, right, spit
Oh,
me
yeah.
around.
Oh
You
yeah,
already know.
of course. Oh yeah, of
And then her
course.
mother's going to be like, hey, snap out.
Oh yeah,
Listen,
trust
man.
me,
I'm going to have
trust
to be
me.
like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you remove that, the moment you remove that now, I removed my defense, she removed her defense. You know what I mean? So that's what's going on now in the dynamic of the projects and why there is so much gun violence now. Because now I can't even, if I had a son, he was shooting and I whoop his ass, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gonna be done. You gonna be done because they gonna get you outside.
Yeah, he's right.
I go
They-
to jail also. On top of it, you're telling us not to chastise our kids. You're telling us not to do certain things to our kids.
Right.
But yet and still,
That's crazy.
who's supposed to
Yeah.
raise our kids if we can't?
I don't know.
And he's so right because I have to add this to what you said about gun violence. A lot of times, you notice now, the younger the kids are, they're bringing guns to school. And
Yeah.
we notice, and where is the law enforcement behind this? Where is the structure where now you have to have meter detectors? You call it
Metal detectors.
It's getting so bad. It's like a jail in the school system. It's there's no
But
structure.
it's
no
not
boundaries.
even it's not even guns. They bring weapons. They've been bringing weapons for years.
Yeah, but
It's just that you can't find it. They're not gonna search you unless unless it's a gun.
But the thing is, it's gonna take another tragedy, parents losing the kids, until what's gonna happen.
I hope not.
Because I could go really in on this. I don't want to, but I have to mention about NRA. They have a big hand about this. And you're not going with this. They have a big hand, and they don't want to change the gun laws. They want to just act like it's okay, carry a gun, or it's all right. If you're mentally ill and have a gun, you think that person's gonna be all right in the hand, and there's so much to this, but I'm just gonna make it short. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy you say that.
Right.
In certain areas, they don't even deal with half of the stuff we go through.
Wow.
They kids ain't even holding guns.
Yeah.
They kids ain't even shooting at each other. But yet and still, they're the ones that's getting mass murdered with ARs and 57s. Meanwhile, the kids that we're talking about that's probably moving the gun rate up is not doing it near schools. Nothing is going on. And not only that, you know what happens when a kid do bring a gun to school? They got to go through a metal detector.
Yeah.
They already get searched. So a kid is
Yeah,
not gonna
but you got to
sit there-
remember though, there's people that's carrying anything. You could stab somebody with a pencil.
No, I'm not knocking
Yeah.
I'm not knocking it. But when it comes to the ones that's doing the mass shootings in the areas, you got to look at it like this. Maybe they need to take that some of the police treatment and how they treat minorities and how they put all these or how we got to go through these metal detectors. Because think about it. You know why? When I was going to school, I was banging. I was in that. So we didn't bring guns to school or things like that because we knew we had to go through the metal detectors.
Yeah.
We knew that.
Yeah, but
before we go to the park.
but in school, everybody knows there's something that somebody got, sharpen something, a pencil, a sharpener, whatever. You stab somebody, you're done.
Yeah, but that's just like anywhere though, because anywhere you can take a weapon and do what you got to do. But when it comes pertaining to more so gun violence, bro, when it comes to our urban communities, we're not getting mass shootings. We got to worry about our kids getting shot in the streets. They got to worry about their kids getting shot in the schools.
Yeah.
And which is crazy because and the way how they system work and how the way our system work, that's not supposed to be happening
And school's supposed to be a so-called safe place, and you can't even walk in the door.
at all.
That's a
Well,
scary
yeah, and that's
Streets
what we
ain't
want,
safe
yeah.
You can't even walk in the door.
But I look at it as a geographical situation because in New York City, if you have a gun, most likely it's illegal. Only
Yeah.
very few people can have
With the carry
licensed guns.
Yeah.
Yes.
In let's say one of those other states, a 13-year-old, 15-year-old can legally have a weapon.
That is the craziest.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you look at the statistics on their crimes, it's a lot low because it's not illegal.
Right.
Over here, it is illegal to have a weapon in general.
Yeah, but just because you have one don't mean you have to shoot one.
Well, just because you have one doesn't mean you have to use it.
Exactly.
That's the thing
true,
that we're
yeah.
going at. Like, could we change the demographics of New Yorkers having gun? We're too big of a society to have that because we'll see too many problems. Over there, the smaller number of population is one of the reasons why it's out there.
Exactly.
The open space and everything. Like, it's common to go in a shooting range and just practice using your weapons. Now, I've always been against having large assault rifles in general. I don't,
Yeah.
and unless you're in the military, I don't see a point of having it. But has anybody ever shot like an M16 or
No,
AK-47?
Nah.
anything
I
like
don't
that?
see
Nah, I
TV.
don't-
That's
I
it.
don't-
That's the most I see.
Handgun?
I don't like guns.
What about handguns?
No.
Nah.
I'm not gonna lie, y'all gonna be mad at me.
Uh-oh.
But I am pro everybody do have the right to bear arms. And let me tell you why. Because the same thing like I told you. Us knowing that the cops and we gotta deal with all this before we even go to school
Yeah.
already makes us know not to bring it there. You get what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
not only that, it's hard to tell kids not to hold and not to carry and things like that when they might have to worry about another block. I went to a community meeting, right? With one area, they're talking about kids. Then I went to another community area with one area, they're talking about kids. Ask me, do those two communities talk to each other?
No. Not
No,
one bit.
But meanwhile,
No,
their
no.
kids is beefing, and they know, so they can easily come together and get their kids to come together and mend that and let it be over.
Yeah.
But if the communities is not talking together, nothing is gonna get done when it comes to the kids. Now, secondly, let's be real honest.
Yeah.
If some of these elderly had the right to bear arms, would they be getting robbed from these young people?
That's some preach
I
right
don't
there
know.
now.
Because they,
Because remember, back in the day, especially when I was growing up,
yeah,
at a
you
certain
can't,
age,
you can't mess
the
with, yeah,
older-
you
they
can't
was
mess with no,
smacking
you can't mess with no
Not
old
no
people.
more. They call ACS right away. in a
Back then it used to
heartbeat.
be
Yeah.
you have respect
Ooh.
for older people, but now
It's different. Yeah.
now it's different now. So
you got to get them to get their respect. We got to allow people that
because
are
imagine
not
if
able,
imagine if the old people started hitting back,
They should.
See, they started hitting back.
That's a whole nother ballgame.
See, then it'd be
Well,
a
I mean,
problem.
we used to. I mean, culturally, we used to have a line that we didn't cross,
Yes.
and now
Exactly.
those have been so blurred that it's unfortunate.
Very true.
But
Very true.
not to deviate too far out on the topic, today's topic.
Yeah.
Earlier we mentioned some of the negativity of being a single father.
Yes.
So we kind of touched on child support.
Mm.
And
hit that
Oh,
one.
wow.
Oh boy.
a lot
Wow.
of people would be like, we don't want to pay for the fathers.
Right.
In actuality, I say a lot of us want it because it gives us some standings with the courts.
Right.
This is us paying our dues. There's a number of individuals that try to not do it or pay or try to scheme off and doing other things. When I was I got divorced, and when I went to the judge, the magistrate to start the child support, I took up all my paperwork and I was like, this is how much I make. This is how much the potential I can make. This is what I made a couple years ago.
Right.
Here's everything in line. Here's the IRS paperwork, my pay stubs, all this.
Wow.
I already knew what I was gonna have to pay.
Right.
I remember my ex, and I'm not trying to be pessimistic or be negative towards her,
No,
but
go ahead, please.
she was expecting this big paycheck, coming out. I'm like, look, we make basically almost nothing at this time. It's me in my 20s, and I'm like, where are you gonna get that? I remember the judge going, no, this is, boom, this is it, and her jaw dropped like, what?
That's what
I'm
you're
gonna
getting.
get
You're
that?
lucky for getting that.
Well, my point is, the negativity part when we get to this, I don't know what the percentage is, but it can't be too high. There's a reason why there's a stigmatism on it, because let's say there are instances where men who are not biologically fathers of children are paying child support.
Exactly.
If we don't pay our child support, and most of the time it comes to the males that have to pay child support. I don't know what the statistics are that either, but I know it favors the men having to pay because, but imagine if you're missing child support payments, you get your driver license removed, you're
Everything.
revoked, can't travel, can't do this, and you can go to jail, pay fines, and et cetera, et cetera. That's a hard hitting situation that we have to face. Now, how many people are affected by it? The dynamics of the amount of money, those are things that have been set for a long time.
Yes.
I know there's people on the left side that want to change. Some people on the right that wanted to even get stricter. I don't know. I'm in the middle with that.
Okay.
I just know what I've had to do. I know the stigma that comes around with that situation.
Yeah.
But finding an even balance is what's an important thing, because I think you mentioned what's our personal view of all these things. The next thing is abortion.
Ooh,
Abortion
that's
rights.
a tough one. Yeah. How do you guys feel about that? I want your perspective on that as well. Like, what if say you make a child with a woman, and unfortunately money's not right at the moment, and you guys are going through hard times. How do you if you, let's say she says one day, I feel like getting an abortion, would you guys be okay with it? Like, this is your child too. Like, what do you guys want? Who's gonna start with this?
I'll let somebody else answer.
Oh, I'll start with that. then.
Okay, no, okay, might as well. Go ahead, Gonzalo.
Look, I'm just to be clear, I'm
Like,
against abortion. I don't think there should be. We should have to come to that point. But there's one thing that's a key factor that I think that's missing. We're not having the men on the table in speaking about it, and that's the thing that's a hurtful thing, because and the one aspect is a lot of people say, and it goes back to child support. Well, if I don't want to have the kid and you have the kid, should I have to pay child support? If the woman wants to have the abortion, where's the discussion whether maybe the man wants to have the child? So I know I'm against abortion. For me, it's more being part of the conversation, anything, for the men to be a part of it.
Right.
And if we're not, then that's a different story.
Okay.
But it takes two people to bring someone into the world. But I've always had, different lean towards the women, because, it's in their body, and it's a women.
It's a sensitive matter.
It's a sensitive matter.
Okay. Anybody else on the men's side wanna?
I just feel like
Before I say my part.
I feel like if two people make babies, that's it. They should keep it. It shouldn't come up to the court or nothing, because they gonna say, "Oh, you got to pay child support." If a man, if it's your baby and you know it's your baby, you know you gotta pay before you even go there.
Facts.
Ooh,
So you shouldn't even. And it is crazy.
You shouldn't even go there.
Exactly.
You should just pay what you gotta pay.
Do what you gotta
Let
do.
it be.
Because at the end of the day, the moment you decide to sleep with that girl, you do anything with her, she decide to keep it. It is what it is. Now, do you got to stay with her? No, you don't have to stay with her. If you want to have 1,000 other kids and do whatever you want to do, that's something that she got to eat and deal with. And ladies, if you have decided to have a baby with a man and he doesn't want to be with you, you got to accept that too. But doesn't mean he got to negate from his responsibilities.
Yeah.
Facts. That is so true. I just gotta say my point of view as a woman. I just gotta, for the women, I gotta root for my people,
Okay.
right? For my ladies, all right? So now with abortion, it is a very sensitive matter. I want to be in between of both. I'm pro-life and pro-choice, meaning, you know, I'm trying to be neutral in this whole topic, but in the sense of as a mother and a woman, I feel I had a situation years ago, and it was because of the fact that at the time I couldn't afford it and everything else, but I made the right decision. I said, you know, I'm going to keep it. The fact because I said, you know what, there's a life, and I really thought about it. I sat down and I said, you know what, I had a conversation with God, and I said, you know, if I do something that's gonna later on be, you know, is gonna affect my life, and I sat down for like 2 days straight, no lie, guys. And I said, you know what? Maybe there's a blessing in disguise. Even though I'm right now in my mother's house at the time, and I just started college too as well, and I was just like not the right time. I said, you know what? But maybe there's a blessing, and I was so happy to say that all these years later, it's been nothing but a blessing. And as everybody's different, their story, but I feel like, you know, it's up to the woman, like you guys say. It's her body. It's her body is gonna change, and if the gentleman that she gets with and lays up with, and he don't want to be responsible, she has to take that role. You know, and show her children or her kids, you know what, you got to stand on your 2 fucking feet and get up and do it, and no matter how. If a man helps you, that's great. If he don't want to step up, hey, but you got to also show your kids that not every man is like that in this world.
So we're talking about Nicholas, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know, a
No,
lovely.
I mean, I'm trying to say Nick, but
Yeah.
Don't say no
sorry.
names.
Can
I'm anonymous.
Can I say something
Sorry
about
about
No, you're good.
responsibility? Because it's a
Yeah.
good thing you brought that up with responsibility.
Thank you.
Let's be real clear. When the male and the female both have the responsibility to protect themselves before entering the sex. So men, you can't sit there and say, well, you know, she trapped me if you went in her role. Ladies, same thing. I say you can't, you know, also blame everything on the man if you allowed him to put it in you raw. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's accountability for both sides. You know.
Facts. Yeah. It's true. It's true.
I'll just move the mic.
Oh no, no.
okay,
listen,
okay.
no,
But you know, just to go back, since you guys gave me the platform,
No, go ahead.
I appreciate it.
Say something.
You know, I had over the years that we've been together,
Yeah.
hanging out, working together over the years. You know, I seen your son, you know, grow. I didn't know that was a part of a reflection. I didn't read it in the book or anything like that.
No, something that this is the first time it kind of.
So thank you for opening
No, I
up for
didn't
saying
know
that.
that either.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You know, so for the fact that that even came across your mind, you know, seeing your son grow, seeing how you've been a mother to him personally, you know, obviously I'm glad that didn't go that route.
Thank you.
And, you know, as a mother, I know you've done a great job,
Thank
the best you can.
How has
Thank
it
you.
been? Like, give us, like,
Thank
as
you.
being a mom, you know?
He could see somewhat. He's seen my ups and downs, and being a single mom has been hard for me. You know, I have my battles where sometimes I get depressed, and I'm just like, am I doing the right job? And you have people in your family, your own family members are the first ones to attack you. You're not good enough as a mother. And I had a situation with my son's father just the other day. I had a situation. I had to get him from school and everything, you know, whatever situation. He comes and downsizes me and tells me I'm not a good mother, I'm lazy, you know. And I'm like, after all these years, my child's about to be 18 years old this year, and you're still downsizing me? And there's more to it, and I can't say much about it because he knows my backstory with him. But it's more to it. And it's like, that's why, like, when I expressed how years ago I was like, kind of iffy about, you know, but I'm blessed he's here. And the fact that now, even though I went through my ups and downs, my trials and tribulations, I'm just saying that I went along with my child and we did it together. And it's just beautiful that, you know, we could say no matter what, we have a special bond because we fought together in this world with the stuff we got thrown at us and the people that downsized me and disrespected me. But I kept fighting. And that's why I went, in a way, it's good we're talking about our own experiences, you know, as fathers and mothers and you know, people that grew up with kids.
And I know you for 5 years, so,
Yeah.
and I've always told you that,
Oh, Sorry, this is
That,
not about me today, but
No, I'm just responding.
I know.
You know, I've always told you that she was a great mother. So
No, I appreciate it, but it's just like my personal thing because you know I fight with mental health issues too, and that's when you mentioned that it's a great we were talking about that because going through domestic violence and deal with somebody in your life that all his lives years downsize you and even critique you as your mothering, and you're like I done sacrifices for my child, even though there were times that I had to sometimes not eat, and he knows I will sacrifice for my son. Here, you eat a plate, I'm good. I'll go for the next following days. I'll figure something out. And that's why it's good. Like we say, we want these parents out there, the fathers more, because this is special for the fathers, to know that, you know, a lot of times there's not bad mothers out there. There are great mothers out there that take that role. But, you know, as a sense being is that these fathers have to appreciate, you know, the mothers that put the effort and time, as also for the fathers to do the same as well.
It's funny you say that because I kind of went through something. I had to really understand when I first had my child that there's not a competition between her and me.
Exactly.
And I didn't understand it at first because, you know, at first, you know, imagine you having your child and you having your kid and everything else like that, but then also you're trying to figure out your body because, you know, she had got a C-section and things like that.
Same, yeah.
So, you know, I'm there. I'm actually in the house. You know, they live with me, everything.
Okay.
So it's not like, you know, I was like, oh, you with your mom? Nah, you with me. All right, cool. We're going to do this. But the thing is that it was different because certain people, when they have kids, and they might not know this, and I need a lot of parents to understand this, sometimes it's good to deal with your stuff because when you have kids, don't think that your problems is just going to go away. You get what I'm saying? If you was talking to people a certain way, you had an attitude problem, or you was dealing with any negative things, that thing ain't going to go away, or you ain't going to change your act or your perspective just because you got a kid. You got to really make those choices for yourself, you know? So when that aspect came involved, and, you know, we got my daughter and things like that, my daughter gravitated to me differently than her mom. You know, for her, she'll be crying, things like that. And, you know, because also she's there also a lot more and hands-on, so she's going to catch more of the riff. When daddy's coming to have fun. Daddy
That's
takes
the
TV.
fun parent.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
But I'm not thinking that, though. I'm not thinking how detrimental that is for her to also see that and experience that.
Yeah.
You know, and then also it's like we could be in the same house, and that's another thing fathers got to understand. You could be in the same house with the woman and your child, but if you're not actually active with them, you're not actually engaged like she's engaged. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I got a real deep perspective when I had lost my job in January for working at a hotel 8 years. It was crazy.
Wow.
But it was a blessing, though. It was a blessing.
Okay.
Because I got to spend a lot of time with my daughter. And I got to take on the role while she was at work. I was home babysitting my daughter.
That's awesome.
And that gave me a different level of respect, too, of, hold on, when this lady's tired, she's tired. When she wants to relax, she wants to relax.
Yes.
And then now you come home, or you come from where you come from, and you want to chill or do whatever. It's like, yo, you get, and then it's even this. This the crazy part, right? I used to be like, I get off of work, then I got to deal with the baby. I'm like, dang, I got to deal with the baby, right? Now, I'm not working. She gets off of work. I'm ready to, here's the baby. She's like, you get what I'm saying?
It's like, I do it all the regular.
I had to sit back, and she told me, she was like, you know, like, I'll be tired. And I'm like, yo, you know what? Nah, I gotta watch that. Like, when she come home, she deserves time to herself. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we can't, and not to say it like this, as me being young, I have watched a lot of people fail with relationships and things like that. Me and her relationship ain't all that great, but as far as when it comes to parenting, it's always good to know that, you know, one of us is going to think and put the child first. And that's what y'all got to do, especially when you're co-parenting or when you're with somebody, is try to put the child first, you know, but also have empathy for each other.
I love that.
So since you've been a young father now, what is one of the highlights of being a father in this last 11 months?
Dada.
That was it?
Okay.
Dada first.
I knew
Was that really her? Was that her first words?
That was her
They
first
always
word.
say
yeah,
that.
okay.
They
That is
always
her
say,
first
yo.
word.
Always say that. Damn.
That was her first
Make sure you have it on video.
Yeah, yo. And also, when she started moving around, you know, because I'm not gonna lie, like I'm active, so it's like people be telling me, look, wait till she start moving. It's not.
Is
gonna
she
be an
talking
issue.
yet?
A little bit, but I can't wait for that to happen because we're gonna be having conversations, just chilling.
Is she
Oh,
walking
that's
yet?
what I'm talking about.
She's standing, doing her little
Oh,
crawler
be like
thing.
picking up
Okay.
things up and lifting up. Yeah, get ready. They ready to walk now. Yep.
Gemini, since you've been a take care of so many children, what's been one of the most exciting highlights?
I think, wow. Well, it's been a while since I took care of kids because I think probably being at the hospital, I guess the first couple of days, I get to see them in the at the hospital. They don't even know me. And I get to hold them, and then
Get that baby
enjoy it.
Because I mean, that's not a lot of people. I mean, you don't have a town coming over to welcome a kid into another life. That's normally a personal family thing. So you've been involved in that small thing.
Course.
And you get like in a couple years, you'd be like, I was there when you were born.
Exactly. Look, the one thing that I always do, and it's so funny because like I know I have my headphones, right? And I always put my headphones on my nieces, and I take pictures with them. For some reason, I don't know. No, the music is not there. I just put the music. I just have the headphones on, and I just take pictures, and they look beautiful too. Now they don't know that, but when they older, they gonna know. And of course they're gonna be like, they're gonna disrespect me, of course. But like I got somebody that looks exactly like me. My mother told me when he came out that we look alike. I still to this day tell him to this day it's not me. It's my mother that told me that we look alike, and he still don't believe it.
What about you, Veronica? What was one of the highlights?
Oh man,
You being a mother.
There's too many. I think the main one is when he was born. Those few minutes when you hear the cry, that cry stays with you for life. There's something about it which is weird. And to see your child when you hold them and you make those promises and you like, it's just something at that moment that is it's inevitable. Like you can never take that away. And I think the years I work, I mean, I feel like reliving my childhood with him a little bit, like see him grow up and feed him and bedtime. All the little things we now appreciate growing up in our own childhood and kind of like reliving it through them. And it's like, I think I did all right, and you see that they become good, citizens and they do what they can. That really speaks a lot,
Yeah, I think for me, watching the kids have one of my mannerisms, like seeing something that I would say or doing something I would do, like, good job, little buddy.
That's right.
So now Father's Day is going to come soon. Does anybody have any things that they want to try to do?
Who wants to start?
I'll just say Happy Father's Day.
Aww.
Do you have any other kids that you have to watch or maybe look into, check up on?
No. They all grown now. All my nieces and nephews are grown. They got kids and all that.
Oh, so they got me.
I don't know. Maybe then one of them might reach out to you. You never know. I hope that they do.
Thank you.
Now look, this is the crazy thing, right?
Yeah.
Father's Day, when we spend Father's Day, we got to spend it around still the family. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, this Father's Day, I think I need a break.
At least he's admitting it, okay? Listen.
Well, at least he's yeah,
My
that's
guys.
good though. That's good
We
though.
might go bowling or something. Nah, I can't.
Okay. Listen, do your thing,
I'm
man.
not gonna lie to you. I always be talking mess, but it's like me and my guys, like they're all fathers, so it's like if
Oh, man.
it's no way of getting around that perspective. So it's like, yo, if one is bringing their kid out, we all bringing our kids out. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And then we all spend time with our family. But it's important for fathers and men to support each other and, just to commend each other because it's like, and I'm not going to lie, seeing the support, like one day I was outside with my stroller. You get what I'm saying? And, just to see another bit, yo, bro, I got you, bro, I got you. don't know me from a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
You get what I'm
That's what's
saying? Or things like that. Like, it's important for men to show and show each other love of people that's being fathers and commend that because if we don't show, we can't look at just the women and say big us up.
Yeah.
We got to big each other up, and support each other because You know, and
Very true.
we can't also see it as a division among us. You know, your job is important just as much as us. But we need
Thank you.
promotion, you know what I mean, for Father's Day.
Yeah. That's,
Yeah.
You get a little love to them, man. They create the kids too, you know. They got
Yeah.
burning eggs, you know.
I mean, I ain't got no babies, but
That was
But
the
I watched
hardest
a
3
few of
minutes
them.
of my life. No.
What about you, Gonzalo?
So I won't be spending it with my children this weekend, but one of the things that I've been doing last year that we spoke about was regarding the internship programs that we've been doing
Yeah.
as a mentorship, and it just happens to be this cycle I have 3 young teens, young men that I've been getting, ready for the workforce, for the big times. And, for me, last weekend, I had them in the back row with me behind the tents with an event where the mayor, borough president,
Wow.
council person, senators, all these people there. And I'm like, look, this is the way, you're supposed to act and be. Tomorrow, I'm having TYREEK join me in a meeting
Awesome.
where we're going to conduct an official meeting, and I want them there to see how 2 men are going to, interact, how we do business. And those programs involve his helping the youth. So, and then the other things that we have going on throughout the year. So,
So that's what you guys are working on right now.
Yeah, I feel like it's important for young men that look like me, that come from where I come from, seeing working with people as such of his stature as well. You know, I believe in heavier, like, be yourself. You know, we live in a time now where there is no rules on how you should really act. There is rules on how you should act.
Yes.
You know, you should conduct yourself always with the most respect and honorable, but, never be afraid to be yourself and letting the kids know, like, hey, bro, not to say it like this, I kind of talk ghetto just like you, I kind of walk like you. We might not act the same, you get what I'm saying, but look at what my mindset is. And if they see that's cool, they see a young black man focused on business and things like that, they'll be like, oh, word, I don't got to be that dude in the street, I'm already that dude. I could pull up in the car, say what up to my guys, and keep it moving.
I like
You know
that.
what I mean?
Oh, but I guess I commend you guys, all of you guys, because you all each contribute to the community somehow, what you're doing, and you're living a legacy, I say, behind that, especially with the youth and the men and the youth, as the kids itself, as I say. And I feel, and this is where I'm saying this, because I feel, do you have a program, like, for reading with kids or something? Or something you're working on behind the scenes with that, with reading with books?
So-
or something with books with that. I'm saying, why am I getting that? It's
yeah,
weird.
so we've been pushing something.
Right.
The previous year, we had been working with local schools on reading to children. So on reading day, when they have politicians come in, they normally ask me to participate
Yes.
in that.
Yes.
And so one of my big goals this year is to have more of that, but instead of just coming by myself, have a team of individuals come out,
Wow.
stuff like that.
And
God bless. I saw you. I've seen it. That's how I was. Yeah.
also,
Yeah, sorry.
no, I'm sorry. It's also important to say that there's many different ways of learning and reading. So, as a kid who grew up with an IEP, I'm glad that now that they got different resources that we can also
Yeah.
show and give kids to show, like, hey, look, you might can't read this, so you might have to do the auto book and then, read along, and then we'll help you, you
Yeah.
gradually take the steps. So, we're in things of finding ways where we, keeping up with technology as well and incorporated to help the kids.
That is a bit. And I see something now. It's weird. I picked that up, and I know I was saying it for a reason. But with you particularly, I see something. You're working also as an advocate for mental health. I don't know where I'm getting
Yes.
this.
Yes.
God always knows what He tells me what I say. And I say, continue what you're doing. Keep doing that. I see blessings coming for that for you between you and me. I tell you, I say what I say, and Gonzalo's like, "What the?" I'll tell you what I'm telling you.
I'm looking to see if you had tarot cards or something like that.
Actually, I got them in the house. I should bring it.
Whoa,
I do tarot cards. I do.
Can you
I do.
tell my Can you tell my
Nah,
future? Because
well, I
I
can't
need.
say too much
Let's
on
get the
here.
lottery first.
I know.
I do not predict that. I cannot guarantee 100%
Wow.
the sales on that. No, but I do. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, guy, I'm picking up. Mind you, I don't know you. We just made each other. This is truth right here. We just made each other today. Whatever you're doing with the mental health program, continue that. That's going to be your mission. What you guys are doing together, that's amazing. Continue that. But the mental health is very necessary now, especially for the youth and for our males and for also the females. But what you're doing, you're on the right track. Keep pushing that because we need more people like you and you as well, Gonzalo, and you as well, Gemini. And the reason why I say this because we don't have that much in our society, especially in the minority. Being a minority myself, I've seen the cracks of our children that also get overlooked a lot. And I'm not going to be racial about here, but I have to speak the truth, and you know how I feel. Unfortunately, in the other societies, even though we're going with this, they get better education, better resources. We
They
need
do.
to fight for our kids. Continue what you're doing, both of you guys, and I commend you both for what you're doing.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
Well, I'm going to flip that back on you
No, you won't.
because a lot of the things that we've been able to do, you've pushed it out there, and I thank you so much for that.
Oh, thank
Right.
you. That's so
Thank you.
it's about unity. You know how I am. It's just about love and represent our people to for us to know that there's opportunities and we need to be role models for our kids because we're only here for a certain time, until and then we want to leave the kids, our next generation, to say, hey, if they did it and they went through so much, I want to be just like them, and I want to keep pushing on our own people and give them more opportunities as well.
So, as a man and a father, do you guys want to give out one piece of advice that maybe a young man might be seeing right now?
G-rated.
Um,
Those strippers.
wow.
We can come back if you want.
Yeah, you can go
I was
first.
talking
Okay.
to one of my friends the other day, and this just goes for all parents, whether you're mother and father. One thing we got to do is stop projecting our childhood trauma and what we go through and what we feel like
Yes.
worked on us to our kids. We got to understand that these are young adults, and when we talk to them disrespectfully and we feel like we got to get them and check them to get them to do what we got to do instead of actually explaining to a kid what's going on, we're perpetrating that same cycle. You get what I'm saying? So we got to understand that, our kids they have feelings, and, we just got to be able to treat them and understand that we're not trying to raise the next kid that's trying to buck every time or got to check somebody every time. We're raising them to express themselves. If they can't express themselves to you, then don't get mad when they're out in the street expressing themselves with action because they can't talk. The kids need a place to talk. Females, males, no matter what gender you are, everybody need a space and a place to talk, to express themselves.
That's beautiful, man. Wow. Okay, Gonzalo.
I'm not going to be as prolific as that, but I'm going to say something really simple and you use it as a metaphor or just do it literal. Learn how to tie a tie. If you're a young person, take the opportunity to ask someone older than you to learn how to tie a tie.
That's
Leave it at
beautiful.
that.
I love I'm just gonna say, as a woman's point of view, and I'm not being biased, okay? So I like everybody, okay? Right? So quickly, on my point for the youth and especially the males and that sort, especially for the fathers out there, single fathers or fathers in general, continue what you're doing. If you know you're doing the best you can, the exception, then do the best you can. And I would say for the youth and the males, look up to somebody that is gonna go far in life because they're gonna mold you to go into further things and greatness. Don't hang out with the guys in the hood that are always gang banging or doing bad things because they're gonna lead to either death or to jail. And I always say that for a reason. And I'm not stereotyping anything, but I seen it. I live in the hood still to this day. I live in the PJs. I feel you. We live in the PJs.
There's no
I have
money in
shame
the streets no more.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
no money in the streets.
Exactly. Either you're gonna
There's
be
nothing out there for you.
Exactly. Gang banging is cute for a little while, but then you get arrested, you're going to have a rap sheet. And guess what? After a while, it's going to be systematic. That's how the system works. And I'm not even going to go about that.
I tell kids all the time, your biggest gang is your family.
Yes.
They the ones that's going to show up to them courtrooms for you. They the ones that's
Facts.
going, somebody hurt you, they got to feel that pain and might want to get back from you. Your friends ain't going to do none of that. And if you in the streets, you know how many people you got that's dead and nobody got back from them or did anything for them or even checked on their mother. So you got to protect yourself. Your family is your biggest gang.
That's right.
Your
And
last name.
so true. And I
And
just...
for me,
Oh, so good. Just go ahead.
I'll
be
just say,
preaching now.
just continue to do great things and, just look up to the good people and there's good people out there.
Amen to that. Ooh. I feel like I went to church today, man. Now, I didn't answer that question for a reason. Don't worry about Father's Day, what you're going to do. And I'm going to add to that quickly, Gonzalo and you guys. Father's Day is hard for me. I talked about it earlier today.
I know why. I know.
you know, my father passed away, gone like 21 years now. 21 years this year. Thank you. And we did something last year, which is a documentary called All Is Love, which has got seen by the Philadelphia Latino Film Festival this year.
Be Free Awards
And that's what, And I just felt like after 20-something years, I'm finally healing. You know, lost my father, and I was very close to him. I'm daddy's girl. And even though he's gone all these years, it's still, the pain is still there. So Father's Day for me is like I stay home and I want the day to go by fast for me. And then I'm going to be honest with you, I have to, because this is how I am. And because I know for years. And you know me for a while.
Yeah.
I want to say Father's Day to this man right here. You have been an exceptional father to my son. Even though he may be what he is, but he does love you in his way. I'm talking about Jay and Pine Media in the background. He's like, oh, me, not me. I will talk something personal, which I know he don't want to kind of talk about, but I have to. I found this out around last year ago.
Yeah.
I was carrying. Me and him was carrying, and I lost our child. But I feel that's why now Father's Day is a little harder for me. So I'm starting a little emotional because I tend to keep a lot of stuff inside.
You're good.
Thank you. And thank you. So like I said, like I commend you guys. You know, you're doing so much for your kids. Just keep on what you're doing. And, you know, those are the fathers out there who lost a kid. You know, don't feel like you don't feel that you're not fatherless. You are still a father. Even though you lost a child, but there's always blessings around you. So always see it that way. So that's it.
Thank you for sharing that,
You're welcome.
Veronica.
That's why I said what I said about the thing that's coming up. That's you know, I told you.
Yeah.
That is very emotional for me too, because like I said, I watch kids now, and I watched kids before I even met Jason.
Oh my God, that was
Even
3
that.
hours
So
ago.
imagine you in the hospital and you raising them. You got no kids, but you know how to raise them. That's impossible. Cause I'm smart and I listen,
Right.
and I know exactly what it is. To this day, I still know how to change his diaper, the formula.
You don't put it backwards, right?
I know how to do all of it. I know how to
You
do
don't do that, right? You don't-
everything.
You got flashbacks
Change
on
diapers, everything.
All
Brush the teeth. I teach them how to say my name. I teach them how to walk when they're around 1 year old. Everything to this day. Nobody can tell me. See, and this, like I told you when you told me that, and I told you that I'm that I watch kids. See, people don't know that. People don't know that.
No, I get that because I'm helping my sister.
Yeah, we talk about that,
And
yeah.
stepfathers are very important.
Yes.
Stepfathers are very important. And in men, if you're not with your kid and then you got another man stepping up, don't look at it as his competition. He's just there just to cover the bases when you're not. They business is they business. Deal with your own.
Facts. Well, we got to wrap up now, but any last words before we get out of here, guys?
Happy Father's Day to y'all.
Happy Father's Day, everyone.
Happy Father's Day, and don't forget about the ones that's not.
Right.
Happy Father's Day. And I know a lot of people are going to be backlash for this, but I'm sorry. Single mothers also, happy Father's Day to you too,
Happy Father's
ladies.
Day, Yeah, of
Because it's
course.
2 jobs, okay? So
Of course.
I know people are going to be like, oh, but they're not a man. They still do the job done. That's all.
Hold on, based on certain situations, they are the men. They are the men.
Yes. But I wanted to commend you guys for coming on the show today. Thank you again, Gonzalo.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Tyreek. Oh, I'll make sure I get it right. Tyreek.
Yes.
I'll make
that's
sure I
my
get
bad.
it right. Okay, hold on. Tyreek, thank you for coming. I appreciate you so much. You're awesome. Oh, no, thank you. Oh, thank you. Ooh, thank you.
Whoa.
Thank you, Stop it.
This
Thank
is
you for
not a-
having me.
You're
Anyway.
welcome with the Gonzalo Duran. That's Tyreek
Thank you for having
Goodman
me too.
and- Yes, Gemini
for
Stacks.
the,
I was about to say the wrong guy.
Wow, you think, What's up?
We got to get out of here, people. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, your girl, VeroG, and we'll say bye. Bye.